Hello everyone, welcome back to Coders Academy. I am Ashish here. In today's video, we will take a look at what is dbutils in Databricks. We will see how to use dbutils and what are the different types of utilities available under it. At the end, we will go through the dbutils for notebook, file system and widgets. What are dbutils? dbutils stands for Databricks Utilities. It is a collection of utility commands available within Databricks notebooks. These utilities provide functionalities for interacting with the Databricks environment and performing common tasks that are not directly available through standard programming constructs or Spark APIs. Some of the examples of Databricks utils are file system utilities, notebook utilities, widgets and secrets. Now let's take a look at a complete working demo of all these utilities available under dbutils. So log in to your Databricks account and then click New, Notebook. Let's name this as dbutils demo. Make sure that the default language is Python and we connect to the server. So our server is connected here. First, let's explore what all functionalities or utils are available to us. So we'll make this as a markdown. Okay. So exploring the available utilities under dbutils. So add a new coding cell. dbutils dot help. Okay, so these dbutils are available to us. The module provides various utilities for the users to interact with the rest of Databricks. So it's data, file system, jobs, library, meta utils, notebook utils, preview, secrets and widgets. Now let's go through some of them. First, let's try the file system utilities. So we will add the file system examples here. Add a new coding cell. So we'll first list the contents of the root directory. So it will be dbutils.fs.ls and we provide the path. So let's run this. So here is a response from the query. So what we have received is dbutils fs.ls of root directory. So we see that there are two paths here, dbfs and dbfs:/Databricks datasets. So dbfs volumes and dbfs Databricks datasets. Now we will try to create a new directory. So let's try and do that. So we are trying to create a new directory, file store and my project. Okay, let's see if this works. Public DFS root is disabled, access is denied on this particular path. Okay, so we cannot access this particular path as a write operation because this particular version of Databricks does not allow us to do that. So let me try and create it under this. Let's see if that works. It's a read-only user prod is not authorized to perform S3 put object on the resource because no identity based policy allows this. Okay, so basically it's not allowing unauthorized access. So this particular must be an S3 location and to that I am not being given the permission to put an object there. So we cannot add or create a new directory in this free version of the Databricks. But the command remains the same. If you have all the right permissions, you should be able to create a new directory following a specific directory path starting from root. Now let's take an example of the notebook functionality under dbutils. So what we'll do is add a new MD cell. Okay. So this is regarding the notebook utils. So you saw earlier here, there we saw FS now. Now we'll take a look at the notebook utils. So that's what we are doing here. So add a new code cell. So what I will do is I have created a small notebook here. Okay, let me show you that. So in recents, where the first statement is hello, I am a child notebook. There is a simple result variable I have created with status equal to success, and then once this db notebook exits, it returns the result back to the caller. Now what we will do is we'll invoke that child notebook from here. So I'll add a new code cell. In this code cell, I will invoke that child notebook. So result is equal to dbutils.notebook.run /child notebook, and I will give some timeout value. Say I'll increase it to 2 minutes, and I will just print a statement there with the output there. Now let's run this. So you saw here we have got the response back from the child notebook. Yeah, so we had written result of status success. So the notebook in the parent ran by invoking the child notebook and printing the result. So child notebook returned result. So here is the output, child notebook returned status success. Now let's take an example of a widget dbutil. So this is my widget management example. Create a new node. So I have some few examples here, where in the first example I have created a drop down widget which will be called as file format. Default value will be parquet, and these will be the drop down values. Then there is a multi-select columns name, where the values will be name, age, job title. It will be called as select columns. And there is a numeric widget which will be basically max records. Okay, and 100 will be the size. Okay, now let's run this. So here you see there is a file format that has come here. Default value was parquet, CSV and JSON were the other values. Then you have something called as max records. The default value was 100, and the field was called as maximum records. Then you have select columns, that was the name of the field. Okay, and you have the drop down values here where you can do a multiple selection. So this is how you make use of the widgets using dbutils. Now we will see how to read the values from the widgets. Okay, so I'll add a new code cell. So what I have done here is this field is called as file format. So I'll say dbutils.widget.get file format, and I'll take that in a variable called file format, and I will print the result. Okay, so f string. Okay, and here I'll just say file format. Okay, and we'll run this. So we get parquet value here. Suppose if I change it to JSON, we don't even need to run it. It automatically picks it as a JSON value. See again, it automatically picks. Similarly, you can read the values for the others as well. Okay, say for example, if you want to read max records, so max records is equal to dbutils.get max records, and then we print max records. Okay, refresh. So CSV and 100, and if I change this to say 30, yeah, CSV and 30. Similarly, you can read the values from the column section as well. Okay, these widgets can be very useful in passing parameters to the notebooks. Say if you want to run the notebook with a prior values to it, then you can make use of widgets in those scenarios. Now there is another utility function to get all the widgets in a given notebook. So we can also do that. Let me show you the example. So it's called dbutils.widget.getAll. Now let's run this. So here it has given me the columns. So the column is one widget, so name, and then there are two selections. So age and job title, max records 30, file format CSV. If we can change this, this changes here, okay, and this doesn't get refreshed. When I run this again, perhaps it will get refreshed. Yeah, so that's how it refreshes here. Now there are some more utilities under the widget section, so let's take a look at them. Now what if you want to remove a particular widget from the notebook? So there is a utility for that. It's called as remove, dbutils.widgets.remove. So let's say we want to remove the max records, okay, so we'll do that. So that particular field has gone away from the notebook, okay. Now if you run this again, get all, it's gone away from here, and if you run this again, we won't get the value of max record. It will complain that there is no field called as max records because the field is not there anymore, okay. So that's how you can play around with the dbutils functionality in the Databricks. These are all the lists that is available to you. We saw the example with file system, we saw the example with notebooks, we saw the example with widgets, but similarly there are several others that you can try it on your own.